Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm trying to do weekly uploads. Usually we do monthly uploads, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna get more consistent. And now, since my job decided they wanted to, we're gonna get into that. But anyways, do you like the look? I like it. I'm giving teacher vibes. You like the ponytail? I'll have the link in the description. The glasses, I know there's a glare, but I know some of y'all are kind of into that, you know, like teacher glasses. So I was thinking I need to upload a video this week, and I filmed this video months ago where I was giving advice, just like blatant relationship advice. And I do have a kink in my neck, like right here. So if you see me rubbing it, now you know. Setting, even though I don't have to explain, this is my parents' sunroom, and it's also the junk room. So there is a weighted hula hoop and a sweater and books, but I like it. Yellow's a color. So the first thing I would give to you as a friend, or as just, I would tell any person, one thing that has made my life better. I'm also going to be painting while I'm doing this. Addressing your emotions. The first person I think about when I think about a person that doesn't address their emotions at first is, I remember I was telling my mom I was sad about something, and actually no, I'm gonna start with me. It's my fault. So I have anxiety. I'm getting over it. Having better healthy coping mechanisms for what I'm feeling. And I used to do this thing, if I could ignore the emotion, then maybe it would go away. And guess what? It did go away. But when it came back, it would be worse, and at the worst time possible. So the one advice or thing that I could give to you, and I'm gonna write it down so I don't lose track of what I'm saying, is feeling your emotions. If there would have been so many things, just what people, if they would feel it. Now I'm saying getting mad, getting sad, getting angry, but addressing, I feel sad. Here's a good example. So anyways, I told you I would suppress my emotions and I wouldn't address them, and they would come out at the worst possible time. Which is why, I mean, if you're a person that cries when you get passionate, then probably you suppress your emotions at different times. So try this and it'll be better for you, hopefully. So what I did recently, I was feeling like I was feeling as if, it sounds like somebody's here. Let me check. I would feel like, gosh, I almost need to be up here. Yeah, I'll move up. So I would suppress the emotion, but one of the feelings I was feeling that I didn't want to face is I was talking to this guy, and I was talking to this guy, and I felt he was ignoring me. I was right. So I felt that emotion, and I said, no, I don't want to address that. I don't want to. I mean, is the healthy thing to do is ignore it. He's not ignoring you. And then I said, wait. Can we just feel it for a second? So you don't have to just woo-saw in the middle of the store, but you can pause for a moment. Just say, just a moment. Say that, just a moment. Wait. Hold your hand up. Be like, just wait. And I could feel it. I could feel, this might be too deep for it. If this is your first time, but for me, since I've done this, I can say, oh, I'm feeling signs of being, I have that fear of being abandoned. I felt that in that moment. But let's say this is your first time. You can just say, I feel sad. Why? Well, because, I feel like he's ignoring me. See, that's it. How do you feel? Why? Is this something that you can control, or is it something that they're doing to you? Okay, and that's how you do it, just over and over and over. So for my Christians out there, because I'm one too, but there's a lot of worldly advice out here, but I also want to let y'all know not everything that comes from man is bad and of the world, because One thing my mom like was trying to do recently, I told her I was feeling sad about a situation happening with my job. And she said, sometimes you just gotta give it to God. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to give it to God. But from doing that, that's not addressing the emotion. And now I won't be able to communicate, like, yes, we can give it to him. And yes, he's going to know exactly what to do. But while we're spending these last couple, like, years, not last couple, apocalypse, but while we're here on this earth, it would be good to, I know y'all can't see, I'm just going to take them off. It would be good to address how we're feeling because it helps us communicate better. God, I think, wants us to be smart people, he doesn't want us to make dumb decisions, right? And I know there has to be some verse out there about being a fool or something. I know it just has to, because the Bible is sometimes funny. They'll be like, you're a fool if you do this. So I'll be cracking up sometimes. But I told her, I said, instead of us, just being like, I'm done with it, I don't want to address it. That's just saying you're not addressing it. That's still squandering your emotion. You got to address it. Thank you for texting me right now. You have to address that emotion and feel it. If you feel angry, why are you angry? Well, because they disrespected me. Okay. All right. What happened? Okay. You tell what happened. All right. Do you think they meant to disrespect you? Okay. You feel it? Now, what if they're not? Well, I mean, if they're not, you're still mad. So I'm going to validate. I'm not saying that even if it's not your fault that the way you're feeling, the way you're feeling, I'm not saying that you can't feel that way. You should. Your emotions are a beautiful thing. And the more you learn to identify them, the easier your life will get. Because at least, you're not just walking in the dark. You're not like, oh, I can't see. Oh, I stubbed my toe, I'm going to scream, but I didn't see it in the first place. This is why children, I'm gonna slow down my speaking. This is why children have temper tantrums. I had a student in my ballet class, and she was not doing the exercises with energy. She wasn't. And I at first thought that she was disrespecting me. I was like, oh, she doesn't want to listen? How dare she? So, but I took a minute and I went up to her and I said, are you okay? And you should have saw the look in her eyes. She was like, no. And I said, what's wrong? She said, I've just been really sleepy. She said, I've just been I'm getting emotional. She's like, I've just been really sleepy all the time because my parents wake me up at 7 and usually I go to sleep at this time and it's not happening. And I was like, oh my gosh, sweetie, thank you for, and I said, see, tell me. I said, you can tell me before class what's happening. I said, and then, I was like, we can talk about it. I said, because then I don't just think, oh, you're being a subordinate. You know what I'm saying? I can realize, oh, she's having a bit of a day, but at least she's telling me. So that helped a lot. I knew if she came in, I know her home situation. There's not any red. Oh. There's not any red, but I knew her home situation, so I didn't feel like, oh, she was like not listening or anything. Anyways, the next thing I can teach you all right now from what I've been going through like for this past 2021, it has been crazy, you guys. If I could tell you all the things that happened like to me and all the people that like were involved in these situations, y'all be like, your life is a movie. And I've accepted that. I wish I could tell y'all more about what happens in my life and how exciting and crazy and fun it is. And I don't even drink or smoke. And it's still like the stuff that happens. It's not like, oh, they threw us in jail overnight and then it's way deeper than that. Ooh. And I've started to appreciate that. I'd be like, whoa, my life it's pretty amazing. And I'm grateful for that, because some people can be like, oh, my life is boring, blah, blah, blah. And even when it's not just like crazy, I'm still appreciative of it. I'm like, I'm happy that I'm alive too. You know, it doesn't have to always be super crazy and whatnot. I would like something to put on my lap so I can paint. Another thing I would give to you as a friend, that's what's going to be things I can give to you or leave to you. Not only should you address your emotions with yourself, and I just got red paint all over my pretty nails. You should tell people how they make you feel. You would think that, and some people, you know, I'm not saying everybody's not going to use that as leverage against you. I'm not saying when to use it, but I recently was supposed to hang out with a group of friends, and one of them canceled last minute, meaning that all the plans were canceled because all of us were supposed to hang out. I'm a fair person, and I was like, I shed a couple tears. I'm not ashamed to say that. I did cry. I was like, oh my, because I put so much work and money into our friends night. And I told her, I said, you really hurt my feelings. I said, I was really excited. I said, I know you can't change that, you know, it's not your fault that we're not meeting up. I said, but I just want to let you know, like, that hurts. And she, instead of her, you know, lashing out like, well, you know, I can't control this. It's not my fault. She was like, Sydney. And so I just got a long paragraph of her explaining exactly why the plans got canceled. And I appreciate her so much for that. I appreciate her so much. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. If only everyone could have friends like I do, or even a friend like myself. And that's why I make my YouTube, so we can all be friends on YouTube. But I was so appreciative of that. Now I'm going to give you some more advice. I'm going to tell you stuff that I don't like that has been done to me and stuff that I've done that I know it's wrong. But since I have a bias towards myself, we'll start with their dirt and then we'll get to mine. I remember I had told another guy I was talking to, you know, as we started all the stories, and I told him I told him how I felt like, what he did to cause that emotion, and that I wouldn't like it to be done again. And then I said, and I was kind of at wit's end, and I was like, I know exactly what you're going to say to this. So I did. I got gaslit. And then instead of him addressing anything that I said, I got an even longer paragraph of all the things that I did wrong. Sir, you could have brought this up at any time. You decided to do it now. Okay, right now? Right now, cool. Don't do that. If anyone, any person brings something to you, talking about a job, talking about with your parents, talking about in your relationships or friendships, they're like, hey, I don't like what you're doing. Oh yeah, did you know you can say that? If someone is not treating you with respect, or if they're not respecting your boundaries, I've been guilty too. You can tell them, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like how this is making me feel. Can you not? You can say, stop doing that. I remember I had a friend back when I was in ballet, and I noticed that she would treat me like crap. And I told her, you treat everyone nicely here but me. And I said, if you keep doing that, I will not be your friend anymore. There's one thing. There's a lot of stuff I put up with. A lot. And I did take a lot. But then there's some times where I'm like, no, enough is enough. And you also, here's another thing, y'all. Just like you want people to extend grace to you, extend grace to them. Now, not everything needs to be extended grace to, though. Not everything. Some things are unforgivable, even if you're the one that did it. Even if you're the one that did the wrong thing. Some things are unforgivable. And you just have to respect that person, you know, that you're respecting their boundaries. And even I was in the wrong with like a certain situation. And I remember I told the guy, I was like, I'm not going to tell you when you should get over this. I said, I'm not going to say you shouldn't feel the way that you feel. I'm not going to give you a timeline of when you should forgive me or when, things should go back to normal. I said, because you have every right. I told him this. You have every right to feel the way that you do. Every single right. And I said, it is not my job to tell you how you feel about your own emotions. It's not yours either. It is not your job to tell people how they should feel or how the way that they feel is not affecting you, because obviously you caused it in some indirect or direct way. We have to make people and ourselves accountable for their actions. And just in case that word is going over someone's head, basically, if you push someone down and they cry, it is in you. I'm saying you, me. If we push someone down and they cry, it is your fault because you pushed them down. You didn't make them cry, but you still, the action still affected them. People think that just because, just because this ball, if I push it, yes, I pushed the ball and it knocked over a bunch of stuff. People think that since they didn't knock over the stuff themselves, it's still not something that they don't have to be accountable for. That's not true. Now, there are some things in society where, like, yes, if you're being harassed, you owe no one anything. Get out of there, be safe. But then there are times where the lines are blurred and you're like, well, you're not dating the person. So do you have the right to say, like, hey, are we only talking to each other? Are we exclusive? And another conversation with a guy, he asked me, he said, how did that make you feel when you saw me do X, Y, Z? We were just starting talking. I think it had been 2 days into talking, and I don't even want to get into it. Actually, I do want to get into it. But he was like, how did that make you feel when you saw that? And I said, well, since we haven't been talking for that long, I said, you have no obligation to me. I said, I did feel hurt. I said, it made me look at you in a different way. I said, but you're a single guy. I said, you can do whatever you want. But what y'all don't realize, men and women, is when you start allocating enough time to a person, even if there's no label, if you're allocating time to a relationship, whether you know about it being you have to know. If you're giving someone your time and attention, don't deny it, then there are some obligations that y'all have to each other. You treat people how you want to be treated. If you don't want someone to do the same thing where you and this person have been talking and all of a sudden, they're posted up because they just couldn't find it in their heart to tell you, hey, I'm into someone else right now. Don't do that. Treat people how you want to be treated. Now, I remember, instead of it always being focused on relationships, I want to teach y'all how to navigate through life too. With my job, I was being undervalued, and I didn't think that I came so far with my life, how do I say it? With my career goals. I had came really far, had, whatever. And they weren't respecting my credentials, and in fact, undervalued me. And I only thought that could happen in relationships, because I've always been about that. Relationships, friendships, people connected. I've always been about that. And when I'm by myself, then I'm more, at a job, I'm more complacent, more docile, because I want to impress the manager or whatnot. But at my job, I realized I was being undervalued. And my dad told me, he said, any company that you work for, if you stand up for yourself, he said, you have to know that it might not go the way you want it to. And so that kind of sucks that when you set boundaries, because I set a boundary with him. I said, no, I'm not coming back until this is done. You've been telling me this was going to be done for a month now. So I'm not coming back until this is fixed. Now, I set a boundary, and for me setting a boundary, they punished me for hurting me first. I set a boundary, and then I get punished because I wouldn't let them treat me any kind of way. And still, I'm so glad that that situation did not crush me like I would expect it to, because, you know how I just know with the opportunities that come to me so abundantly, and I have nothing to worry about. I really don't. I can only go up from here. And so can you. Another thing I want to teach y'all about is conflicts and how to address them. I'm going to tell y'all a story. I worked for an organization that may or may not have yellow arches and may or may not sell really, really good fries. And I still eat there. But I used to work there, and I was getting harassed by the workers. Now, I didn't know how to process my emotions as well as I did now. And that actually was literally when COVID started back in March. So that's how quick growth can be sometimes. But they were treating me like crap. Not crap, but I don't know how to explain it. I don't want y'all to think that, I was just getting dogged out. But it's really hard. There's some situation, if you've worked at a place before, you know how some situations are just small enough to be annoying and make you uncomfortable, but not big enough to make a fuss about. And then I realized, me being uncomfortable, I can if it's a small or a big thing, I can say, I don't like this. Y'all have to do something about this. Or I will do something about it. And handling conflicts and how to address them. I think I already said this in the earlier clip, but basically you're going to tell the person, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like this. You need to stop, or I will do X, Y, Z. It makes me uncomfortable. Blah, blah, blah. Or I will, tell the manager, blah, blah, whatever you got to say. And let's say it's not a job thing. Let's say it's a friend thing. Because some of y'all let your friends talk bad about you and throw shade, and y'all think that those are actually your friends. Those are not. Those are people that are jealous of you, honey. Some of y'all need to hear this. Your friend is jealous of you. Might be. Let's say this is not resonating for you whatsoever. It wouldn't be for me, because me and my friends were good. But let's say, I just hear like, what I've heard, like, whenever I've noticed with some friend groups, they'll like roast their friends, and not in I don't care what, like for me, just because I did come from being bullied, saying anything bad about anyone, it doesn't make you feel good. As sensitive as I am, am, because that's me. Look at all this red in this picture. Making someone feel bad about anything is not good. So why even joke? Why even be like, yeah, your head is kind of big? I've never been told that, but still, like, yeah, maybe no. Like, yeah, you are kind of, like, let's say, oh, I feel big. Whenever my friends say like, oh my gosh, I feel fat, I feel this, I'm like, don't say that about yourself. I said, because you're not. And even if they are or were, why would you even want to affirm that? Don't affirm that. Words are so powerful. Yes, that's another thing. Take a compliment. Please take a compliment. If you're one of those people like, oh no, not me, just say thank you. Oh, my mom's back. But just say thank you. There's no reason for you to pretend, or maybe even is low self-esteem. Maybe you don't believe it. Some of the most confident people today didn't believe the stuff that they even said about themselves at first. They didn't. They didn't believe that they were talented. They didn't believe they were amazing. They didn't believe they were attractive. But they kept saying it. And if you say something long enough, it becomes true. It does. If you say it long enough. People told me, they said, you're going to stop growing at 18. And I said, no. I was like, I'm going to keep growing as long as I want, because I have a height that I want to reach. And I'm going to keep doing it until I get there. And I haven't stopped growing. Even though one of my friends thinks that I have stopped growing. I haven't, because my clothes, like, I'll buy new clothes and then, look, then he said, well, maybe it's the washing machine. I don't need that negativity. I'm 5'9". If y'all want to know my real height, I'm 5'9". So yeah. Anyways, that's all I got for y'all today. I didn't want this to be too long, and I'm not editing a single thing in this video. But when I get back to my dorm at the college, I think I have a couple videos. I wanted to do a hygiene video. I already filmed it on New Year's. And then I did a quarantine video of when I was quarantined with COVID. And yeah, so I'm going to show y'all what I've been painting. I'm going to go say hi to my mom because she's off work. That's another thing. If you see someone, hey, how are you? How was your day? Ask them how their day was. Was there something that stood out that made you excited? Was there something that you didn't like? Also, Ask people how their day was. If you have a friend or anyone that's always asking, how are you? It's probably because they want you to ask how they are too. Okay, let me go say hey to her. Bye.